What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, you're watching TWA Motorsports, and today, yes, we have a couple more upgrades for the dually. You know, I told you guys lowering it was going to be the next plan, but I also told you that I might sneak a steering wheel covering video in, and that is kind of what I'm thinking today's going to be. What is going on with the light? I don't know why it didn't open. Why didn't it come on when I opened the door? Anyway, okay, guys, I found a steering wheel. My uncle, thanks to him, he went on a tear where he got like all kinds of steering wheels. I don't know what the deal was. He was just on a hunt for steering wheels. And I know a lot of guys are wanting to see me replace this with a power button, right? Basically, so radio controls and the driver information center. Guys, that may be a video we do down the road, but there's other things I want to do to this truck, and it's kind of a lot of work to do that, to be honest with you. It's not just plug and play. Okay, the wiring isn't there like it is on the newer trucks if you have cruise control. So it requires a BCM update. It requires a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm not willing to get into right now. So anyway, I've got a better steering wheel. They don't make this new anymore. I think you can still get the foam ones, but the leather wrapped ones, you're gonna have to buy used. The cool thing is these run from like 2003 up. So like the wheel that's on this guy will not fit. The center is different. Okay, so you can't use an older one, but from 2003 up, basically like Trailblazer, Envoy, Suburban, Tahoe, Yukon, Escalade, they all fit. Now, if you get the one with the controls here, it's not gonna work. It's not plug and play, okay? Just get that out of the way. So we just have a replacement wheel like this. The leather's all chewed up on this one. The one that I got isn't perfect, but it is way, way better than the one that we've got here. The other thing that we want to replace, and I've got, is this guy here. So I told you it had some cracks in it. I dried it out with the plastic, the steamer, trying to get this off, which didn't even come off. So we're gonna be replacing that as well. So we got two upgrades to do, and I'll be listing, well, that in the description. I'll try to list a link of eBay if you can find one of these. There's several listed on eBay. And they're not too terribly expensive, but let's start by getting the hood popped and let's get the battery unhooked. One of the other things I really need to address is I need to hook our ground back up at some point. But guys, this has aftermarket stereo, so we obviously have a different piece here, but all we need to do is unhook the negative portion of the battery. I'm probably going to unhook both just because I'm weird like that, and we need to wait at least 10 minutes for the capacitor to go dead in the airbag before we go that route. So what we may do is we may, in the process of this draining, we may go ahead and do the console lid. Probably wasn't thinking this one through, but anyway, we've got the new one here, the new replacement hinge, but I don't have any light in here. So I may have to go grab a light so you guys can see a little better. But look, it comes with a new pin. Okay, it comes with this new adapter. It comes with two new springs. And it also comes separated. You notice this is separated. It clips together, okay, the top and the bottom. So in order to get our old one out, we're gonna have to unclip it, which, look, if we break it, it's already cracked. We need to get in here. There we go, we got it released. We shouldn't have to release it all the way up, but I'm gonna need two hands to get under the other side here. Maybe, there we go. We'll get it popped loose all the way up, or well, a lot of the way up, I guess. You can take it off all the way. That makes life a lot easier to do it that way, probably. You just got to be real careful on your other one. So what we're going to need is probably going to have to move the seat a little bit. Probably that one over there, because we have to drive this pin out right here. You see this pin? This guy right here, kind of if you need to, take a picture of kind of how things are situated before you go back together with it, if that makes sense. But what we'll do is we'll start by driving the pin out. We'll get that out of place first. Now, generally this pin's only gonna wanna go through one way. So we're gonna start on the passenger side here, and you're gonna need something to knock it through with. I've got a small punch. It's all bent, but it should work to get it started. It actually, part of that, you'll see when I show you the other pin, but it looks like a majority of it's hanging out on the driver's side. So we're gonna push it through the most natural way. Next thing I did was I pulled this out of the little clip. We're gonna attempt to take it off. I'd love to get it off there because it'd relieve the pressure on that pen. You can see I've got it out part of the way. I just don't know. We may be able to grab it with a pair of pliers and pull it the rest of the way. I was actually able to get a pair of vice grips on it. It looks like it's gonna come out of there. Holy cow, what the heck is that? Looky there. That may help. Let me keep this handy because that may help to drive it through when we put the new one in. But now, should be loose. It is. Got the old junky one. I guess a guy could actually recover one of these in a different color. It'd be nice if they still made, I always thought the one that matched the seat looked nice. It sucks that they don't make that anymore. They're all vinyl. But look, that one's junk. We'll get it out of the way. Now we can push our seat back. See what we got going on here. Oh yeah, you can see it was broken. Definitely was broken. All right, you guys remember how the springs went in? I vaguely do. Here's the other broken piece of plastic. Now I'm gonna try to do some pre-assembly off the truck. This is the new one. I went ahead and popped that completely off. The other cool thing is, I don't know where the other inner piece is, but you get a new piece of foam, which just deteriorates and goes to crap as the truck gets some age on it. But let's see if we can pre-assemble the springs on this one. Now I've loosely got things kind of assembled. There's holes for the bottom of the spring. Okay, so the not bent side to go into the bottom of the console. Now, what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to try to get this all lined up with that new pin as we're going together. Now there's a knurl on the end of the pin, and that is the piece that was facing the driver's side. I don't think it necessarily matters, but let's see if we can get this thing lined up going back together. And I may be better suited to be on the other side. Get it started here. See if we can line all that up at one time. It actually slid all the way through there. Just be careful, you know, trying to line up your springs and whatnot, but we are in. I'm gonna tap this in a little further, but don't get real crazy. It would be easier to do without the seats in here. And sorry guys for the terrible lighting. I know it's not the greatest. But I'm gonna take my old dowel and kind of drive that in just a hair more. And then all we gotta do is snap our new piece on. I tapped that a little further. It's quieter than it was. Now look, it's kind of noisy right now. And the main reason is because we don't have that foam pad. That's what that does, is it quiets that down, keeps it from rattling. Got that snapped on. Oh man, gotta slam it now. No rattling on that. Got sweat all over me, guys. It's so hot out here. All right, perfect. It'll loosen up. That foam will start to conform. That looks so much better. Definitely needed that, and it's cheap. They're like 30 bucks, guys, and no matter what color you can get black, tan, light gray, and the dark gray, of course, it matches this. Now it's time to move on to the steering wheel. We're gonna need to pop this airbag out. And so on the side of your airbag or your steering wheel, you should have two releases. I'm gonna show you on the other wheel. I'd like to get it a little more square. There we go. But we need something that's small enough to fit in there. Actually, the thing we just pulled out, the console is a little too big. Let's show you on the other wheel. Now this is our replacement wheel that we're going to be using. I've got to clean it up a little bit, but let's look at what I'm talking about. So what we're releasing on those little pieces on the side, those holes, if you guys see that little bar that runs through here, what that does is, let's see if I can find something. I generally use Allen keys to go through those openings. All right, so watch what happens when I go through the opening. You'll see, well, I say you'll see, you may not see it. We need to hit that little bar, and that'll swing that out of the way and pop the airbag loose. The downside is we have to do it on both sides. I may need one just a hair bigger than what I've got here. There, you can see. See, I'm hitting it, it's moving over. Hopefully you guys can see that. So that's what we need to do first in order to pop the airbag loose. Sometimes you can get lucky and do both sides at the same, or one side at a time. I already released this one, you can see. And so we're gonna see if we can get this other one. And it is loose. Now we just pull this out, and there should be a clip in here to unplug it, okay? So, oh, there's not a clip in this one actually. So all we have to do is just pinch and unplug. I always set those face down. Shouldn't be a problem. So now we need to unhook the horn, which is this guy. So you should be able to push this in and turn it counterclockwise. Well, maybe it's gonna make a liar out of me. Can't get my fingers in there. Should be counterclockwise, but let's try clockwise. Nope. I'm gonna go grab a pair of needle nose pliers because I just can't swing my fat fingers that far. So we're pushing it in and turning it. All it took was a pair of pliers, and it is counterclockwise. So push in, turn counterclockwise, release, it pops out of the way. Now, the fun part, we got to get that guy off. Look, can you do it without a steering wheel puller? Sometimes. We're going to go get this size, which I think is 13/16 if I remember correctly. And we're going to get this old one off, or at least the bolt or the nut out of the middle. It is indeed 13/16. Let's get it off there. That didn't take much. All right. Do we need a steering wheel puller? I don't know. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of give this the heave-ho back and forth, and we'll see if we can yank it off without. If we need one, then we'll put one, we'll go grab one. I think I've got one over there. For some reason, I feel like it didn't work real great last time I tried to use it, but we'll give it a shot here. No puller needed. Just wiggled back and forth like this, up and down, came off. I didn't think we'd probably have to have one, but I'm going to take this opportunity to clean up this area here. You know, I don't know how often we'll have a steering wheel off, so we can make sure that, I think this is broken. Try to snap it together the best we can, and I'm sure it's missing the screws on the bottom. Clean this up really well. Took this opportunity to clean, obviously, in these openings right here and this. I got this put back together. The clips are broken, but I got it to stay. We'll see how long it stays. But now I got a little light in here so you can kind of see how much better that looks too. Looks nice. But I'm just using some regular interior cleaner from Chemical Guys. And this is our old wheel. I'm gonna go grab the new wheel. We're gonna pull out here, get a little better lighting, and give it a good scrub down. Now this is the replacement I got, and you can just see the amount of wear on this one. It's just beat up. The top of it is all chewed up and like delaminated. This one has a couple nicks in it, but it's in really good shape other than it needs to be cleaned. So like these spots where you can see I cleaned on a section right here. See that? Compared to like this. Hopefully the camera picks that up. That's just like grease and oil from your hands. And we're just gonna use that same Chemical Guys cleaner to go around this whole wheel. And it's just gonna look a lot better. It's definitely gonna feel a lot better. And I'm kind of excited to find one. The other thing is these inner areas are generally all worn up. I don't know if you guys see that. It's just, this wheel's trashed. So let's get this one cleaned up. I'm just gonna basically kind of just use some elbow grease and a little cleaner and just kind of rub around all the way. Now, aside from like visually being able to see it, leather shouldn't be shiny. Okay, so it should have kind of a dull finish to it, like a matte finish. And that is what we've accomplished here. We've got all the old fingerprints off. And if you ever wonder how bad a steering wheel is, we'll take this old one for instance. And I'm gonna show you here real quick, just in a spot. I'm just spraying the towel, And let's rub this spot right here. And I want you to look at how nasty these things get. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? Now this one could have been cleaned up a little bit, but the fact that it's all like, look at that. Oh my gosh, it's disgusting. So it's not worth trying to save. And like I said, it's all worn out anyway. So we're gonna ditch that, but this one I think is clean. And it, guys, look, it may be a little easier to clean it once it's on the truck. Let's go, that's, okay, I thought I missed a spot. Let's put it back on the truck. So here's the situation. It's keyed, all right? It's got a spline on it. So you can't screw it up. Let's turn my light on here. There's, you can't put it on wrong, okay? It only goes on one way, but what you are gonna have to do is you're gonna have to get your airbag wire through there. I'm trying to do this with one hand and the camera. That's it. Now, once we get it in place, obviously we need our nut that goes in the center. And you can run this down however you'd like. I generally like to torque this. I'm gonna go grab the torque specs real quick because I don't remember off the top of my head what they are. Some people like to replace this too. You can replace that nut if you want. I generally don't. The other thing I'm gonna do, I tell you what, we'll just wait until I get the torque specs on that. We'll torque it down. And I'm gonna go over this wheel with some like leather treatment, I think. Kind of soften this up a little bit so it doesn't get all gross. 29 foot-pounds is actually what that torques to. I'm gonna torque that while I'm holding the side here. And got my torque wrench. Hold the side, torque that, and then we'll get the horn hooked up next. 29 is not nearly as much as I thought it would be. So don't just run it through with your impact. See if we can get this thing in here. I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's use the needle nose pliers like we did taking it out. Normally I don't have that problem, but it's not working, is it? I think I'm gonna have to use two hands here. Not wanting to line up, guys. There we go. Sometimes you can get it with your hands, sometimes you can't. I don't know what the deal is. Anyway, let's try to spread these around. And then we're gonna go grab, jiggle it around, make sure it doesn't come out. We're gonna grab our airbag. I'm gonna clean it up a little too because it's kind of grody looking. And then all we have to do is snap this in. You got to make sure that this is snapped in completely, otherwise you'll have an airbag light. And then we will go hook up our battery. Now that only plugs in one way, but like I said, you got to make sure that it's seated properly after you get it all cleaned up. And then we should just make sure that it's not getting tangled up back there. Push this guy in. Let's hope. Now, here's what happens sometimes. Sometimes your horn button gets weird, and when you hook up your battery, this thing's like blaring the horn. So let's go do that and see what happens. Obviously, if it is, then we've screwed up and we're gonna have to pull it back apart. The other thing is, look, I guess potentially you could pop your it could blow the airbag out, I suppose. I don't think we'll have that problem, but let's hook the battery up. Hey, we got lights on the inside and the airbag didn't blow out and hit me in the face, and we have a horn. So I would call that a success. Look how much better that wheel looks. Definitely needed that. Okay, and that looks really good too, especially now that we got all this light. Like I said, I wanted to put something on here. This is a leather protectant from Griots. It's actually, I don't use a lot of this. We're just gonna kind of coat this. That'll help kind of moisturize that leather, keep it from drying out, you know. Maybe give us some protection. I definitely will soften things up. I kind of let that set for a minute and just kind of buffed it off. I don't like a greasy feel. Looks so much better. It's not gonna make me cringe when I put my hands on the steering wheel. That's one thing I hate, guys. You will never see, and a lot of times you'll see me wearing gloves. I've had a lot of people ask, like, why are you wearing gloves to do like stereo stuff, or what? Because I hate a dirty steering wheel. If I've got to hop in my car and run and get a part or something, I pop these gloves off, wipe my hands down, the sweat on them, and we're good to go. When I'm loading my trailer, like I take a pair of gloves, there's always a pair of gloves in my door, because I'll load the trailer. Obviously, if we're away from home, loading a car, take the gloves off. I am not driving with a dirty steering wheel. It makes it, I don't know, it's just like nails on a chalkboard to me to have a gross and gritty steering wheel. Definitely cleaned up the looks of the interior here. I think we're gonna call it finished here, guys. Couple cheap modifications that you can do at your house that drastically improve, oh, it smells so much better. Drastically improve the inside of your truck. Like I said, this 30 bucks. These, man, they're all over the place. You can get them anywhere from like $70 up to a couple, you know, there's a couple people selling them on eBay for like 200 bucks. I don't necessarily think that I'd buy a $200 one, but $75 is definitely worth it to have that better feel, softer leather going down the road. And guys, a lot of these trucks, especially now this one's not a work truck because it was a power window truck, had some options like the compass mirror and the console up above, but a lot of your cheaper trucks come with what they call a foam wheel, and so they won't have any leather on them. Actually, my green truck over here came with a foam wheel when I bought it, and I put a leather wheel on it, but definitely cleaned up the interior looks. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the little updates on the interior. Now, the next thing you see on this truck will be the front getting dropped. Now, because of the way I'm gonna be doing it, I don't know exactly if it's all gonna be in one video. I'd like for it to be, but I'm gonna start taking things apart. I'm gonna do it slow, steady. You guys know how I like to do things. I like to do things kind of out of the norm. I'm not just gonna throw it together in one day. So we'll just kind of see as we dig into it, but that will be the next video on this truck, will be the front end drop. I kind of told you guys that I wanted to do these two things and they happen to pop up. Well, the center console you can get in like a day from Amazon. They're everywhere. The steering wheel, however, like I said, my uncle had that. So it was, if I got it, I was gonna do it before the drop, and I did. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please, like always, smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are not subscribed, you gotta go down there, hit that subscribe button. Of course, ring that bell notification. That will notify you every single time we drop a new video on this or something else. And stay tuned to see what we work on next.